Let's pull up Canara Bank because on opening it's already hit a 52-week high. We've been discussing the news around foreign investor participation to have been hiked for public sector banks. Canara Bank, remember, has already the highest interest from foreign investors. So that one's spiking to a 52-week high. JK Tyre, let's also pull that one up for you. Profit up 64%, so really good set of numbers, and that's what it's reacting to this morning. Revenue was also up 10.8%. And remember, we have been watching out for a move on whether it comes to tyre stocks, auto ancillary stocks, on the back of the renewed momentum that we're seeing on auto. JK Tyre definitely standing out this morning and this quarter as well. Shail, what else are you tracking?
Well, Abha, at the moment, record highs, and this time on Aditya Birla Capital. Remember, it's the NBFC space that's buzzing. A new stock from the blue chip category, the large cap space, Grasim has hit a record high. Remember, this is the flagship of the Aditya Birla Group. Lots of activity on the telecom space. That is a positive. Remember, Grasim is the mother company of Idea Cellular, where the Supreme Court has said for a relook on the AGR. Laurus Labs is doing extremely well. This needs to be looked at. From the railway space, HBL engines at a record high, and of course, no stopping Karur Vyasa Bank. A word on Canara Bank, Abha. Two subsidiaries have been listed. Canara Robeco AMC and their life insurance business with HSBC. This will be a behemoth 2 years down the line when the mergers are in place, and Canara will have 25,000 branches where this business will grow dramatically. So Canara Bank is the stock to look forward to.
All right, so Canara is the big highlight this morning, and of course some amount of action on earnings, JK Tyres. Let's pull that one again, and we've got Sonacom moving too, perhaps on sentiment, or perhaps we're seeing renewed momentum when it comes to that pocket of the market, but let's pull that one up for you as well. Auto ancillaries, tyres, clearly some amount of traction building there as well. Dharmesh, we were anticipating this. Are there any favorites you have from the basket?
Played the entire theme last 2 quarters, and I think it's not time to take some profit off the table from the auto ancillary and auto space. So because price-wise action, it will be difficult to move the valuations up the needle till Q4 rolls out. So November and December we are expecting a muted kind of auto growth as far as vehicles sales are concerned, and as far as tires are concerned, the only advantage they had with the rubber prices being internationally at this year low, it's a negative kind of a rubber input price. So that advantage they had in the operating margin, which translated into the profitability. But our advice currently has been for traders to take profit off the table from both two-wheelers and four-wheelers. As far as new investment is concerned, wait for a dip of 5-10% correction. It's likely to come by the middle of November or early December, and then a fresh positioning can happen. So as of now, the traction and the dealer point check does not suggest the kind of aggression which we saw in the last week of September or early October.
Okay. Indus Towers has been moving gradually, through the opening session, again on earnings. So let's pull that one up again. Profit is down, but revenue was up close to 10%. So the stock is still seeing good reaction, and it's now up 3%. Dharmesh, have you looked at Indus Towers recently?
The only overhang has been the idea part. And the profitability was for last few quarters was down because of the provisioning they have been making on the exposure to the Idea Cellular. So that recovery wasn't not there to the extent they would have liked it to. This quarter they have done a less of provisioning, and going forward the expectation is, as the indication is, that this issue is going to be resolved. So the moment the Vodafone Idea and government issues gets resolved, there would be sufficient cash flow with the Vodafone Idea to pay Indus Tower, and that would re-rate the stock to multiple high kind of a level. So very cheap. I mean 8-9 times P multiple you are having with 20% plus kind of an ROE and a growth in place of 10-12% on the top line, which is likely to continue. So for long-term investors who have faith that this issue between Vodafone and the AGR dues and everything will be settled, can remain invested in Indus Towers. Good value buy.
All right, so double impact coming in on Indus this morning, not just earnings, but remember the Supreme Court has permitted the Government of India to consider grievances of the company on issues relating to AGR. So that's some relief coming in for Vodafone and by extension for Indus Towers there. So some amount of positive brokerage views also coming in this morning on the back of that. Where else are you looking within the market, Dharmesh? Let me get your top picks before we let you go this morning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a diversified kind of Diwali topics for this season, and that starts with Reliance Industries, which we think is fairly undervalued. Particularly the two businesses out of the retail division is far less undervalued. It's 2 times to sales, whereas same companies in the same segment is trading 6 times to sales. Plus, new energy and AI valuation is still not started discounting in that company. So that is likely to be multiple triggers going forward for next 2 years. Bank of India from the public sector banking space, we have been liking quite long, and that is already on its way up. It's likely to go further up, and 155, 160 is a near-term target for that. And this additional news flow, which you shared with us this morning, can be a further re-rating trigger for that. NTPC green energy from the renewable space looks pretty attractive to us. Lot of commissioning of power plants will happen, solar power plants will happen this year, and that will again set it for re-rating at the same pace. And Tata Technologies from the technology space for automobiles. So last 1.5 years did not see any new launches because of tariff-related issues between different countries, which now gets settled, and things will start rolling in for Tata Technologies, and the acquisition of Aztec in Germany will also open doors for Volkswagen. So all big brands are into play. We are expecting 13-14% kind of a top line growth with margin nearing 20% kind of a level. So these four topics should augur well for next 1 year for investors if they remain invested. The minimum returns which we are expecting is 25 to 30%.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Dharmesh, and
Thank
looking
you so
quite
much.
positive across some of those stock picks. Shail, I know you said 26,000 is going to be tough to kind of meet and sustain. We've really been inching up and trying to claim it, through the week or through last week as well, or towards the end of it. What's your take? How's it going to look today?
Abha, I think we'll have an FNO close. See, today it's the monthly expiry of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. So we'll have a close above 26,000 as far as the Nifty is concerned. We are just 23 points away. But a very, very strong rally on the cards ahead. What's really interesting is that the broader indices are now outperforming the Nifty, as I had mentioned, a record high on NSE 500 already. I think we'll have sector rotation. Now that the Nifty is up 6% in October, November will see mid caps and small caps returning, and a smile on the back of many, many investors. This is a large cap rally. Not many of us hold large caps. It's the mids and small that make our hearts and brains tick. So we're looking forward to next week.
All right, Shail, thanks so much for joining us with that.